So, hi everyone, welcome if you're new. My name's Claire, not Crystal. I'm just fixing this. Yeah, is that going to say? Yeah, right. So even everything I do when I'm channeling has got something to do with it. So even the fact that I was like, is that going to stay? I feel like that's going to have something to do with uncertainty that something's safe and secure. And again, it feels like it ties into the Venus retrograde in Leo. Yeah, that kind of energy of just basically, you know, that, well, it's if you're starting big serious commitments in it, it's not built on a firm foundation. You know, it doesn't mean that it's going to, that's what I want to get clear. It doesn't mean that it's going to tank completely. It just means, I don't know about it even go strong to say take everything people say with a pinch of salt, but it's just, it's not as on a firm foundation as if it wasn't a Venus retrograde. You know what I mean? Particularly when it comes to do with things to do with big commitments in love, like getting engaged, married, moving in. God, even having kids together, actually. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't said that before, but I mean, I just assumed it's true. It's like, it's all things that, these are all big life decisions, and it's not big, loads of people will do it. Right, okay, so right, there's a wee card right here. So peace, that's what we all want, peace. And I can already feel like, so because we are in the Venus retrograde right now, and we're coming up the Mercury retrograde. I don't know about you, but I can already feel the nippiness beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like the mix-ups, the just the people's shadows are out and about, like yours and other people's. It's confusion, mix-up, all that kind of shit. All of that comes in a Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde as well, with the areas that I've mentioned. So it's just it's just all just a bit too much, really. Anyway, let's carry on. So I'm going to pull, just with that being said, let's see what have we got to do with that. Because like I said, you know, I'm one of the people that's here to basically talk about the benefits of any retrograde energy. Because if you don't know that, I'm sorry if you've heard it before, because sorry, not sorry, but other people have heard this chat a lot. But because I've got 6 retrograde in my chart, which is rare, like I've literally, like, honestly, like the only person I know right now that has 6 retrograde is one of my best friends. And no wonder, you know, we're so close because we get each other. But other than that, yeah, I see 5 fairly often, but yeah, 6 not so much. But yeah, it's just, you need to go a bit slower. You need to think a wee bit before you react, because there's more prone to make mistakes. Which is why I was saying that about the Mercury retrograde will be in Virgo, and that is about meticulous eye to detail. It's about getting it right. It's about perfectionism. It's about planning. It's about discernment. So that could be really interesting, because the shadow side of it is it's criticism. It's critical. So you could be critical of yourself. You could be critical of others. But we need a critical eye. You know, we do need a critical eye for something as well. But you've got to keep it in balance, otherwise it's just annoying. So yeah, it will be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to watch it. But also I feel that Mercury retrograde in Virgo, I feel that could give people some real discernment, like basically opening people's eyes to where they didn't see it before, because it's giving you a different perspective on something, if you think about it. And Mercury's to do with communication. I think it could possibly open your eyes to where you weren't being as discerning as you needed to be within any area of your life, because that wouldn't be just love, that would be any area. So, right. But we are talking about twin flames right here, so, right, I've been shuffling these a long time, so what do we need to know just to go in? And that's it. So, I'm filming this on the Sunday, so remember, this is the Venus star point, the CAZIMI energy, so there is a lot of magical energy in the air if you want to utilise that. I personally would just use it to, like, say, like, go inwards, meditate, like say, let it, the energies gestate, ruminate. It's almost like, you know, planting the seed kind of things, because the next few days after this are the dark moon. And also, like I said, because today is today right until, well, I only go by UK time, so you can change it your time, but the moon doesn't move into Leo until after about 11:30 in the morning, Monday morning there. So that'll be a fun mini taster Tuesday, because that's my favourite time to do my live streams are Leo moon, because it is just my favourite moon. It's just really fun. And so yeah, but the actual new moon isn't till Wednesday here in the UK. So, but that's fine. So again, so technically when I'm doing the mini taster Tuesday on the live, which if you don't know what that is, guys, it's basically just now, that is, because again, I will change that at some point in the future. That is when, if you come along and you're open to one and you ask for one, nicely I might add, politely, you can get a free card. And then when I come on the Fridays, that's usually when, depending on my energy levels, I just do collective readings or a collective healing. Every video I do, whether it's live or like this in my hands, pre-recorded, it's all healing that I'm weaving into it. But yeah, the Thursdays tend to be just collective stuff, and if I've not got energy, I don't offer the paid things, and when I have got energy, I'll usually put something about, if people want personal messages, then you can donate for that. And like I said, because of how fun that was, and people really seemed to love it the other night, I'm going to think about doing that, maybe to begin with, like once a month I'll do like a live healing, just the same thing, like picking up on where I most feel you need some energy clearing. And we'll just see. So, because like I said, most people, it seems like, just automatically associate me with the cards, which is fine, because I'm all about the cards. They're my passion, and that's why I'm very good at helping other people read the cards in their own way as well, during, that's the personal sessions that I do with people. But you can learn a lot from me just from watching me. Like, I know loads of people that have literally just learned intuitively and how to read the cards their own way just from watching me all these years. So it could begin, because it's like I activate the dormant energy in you that's sort of lying at that it just awakens that passion for following what your soul wants to do. So anyway, God, I'm still shoveling these. But yeah, typically Cancer moon is cuddles, keeping cozy, cups of tea. It can bring up a lot of sadness, depression. These are the shadow aspects. The sadness, depression, manipulation. I don't usually say that, but Cancer shadow energy can be quite manipulating. So like somebody could put on the waterworks, or poor me, to manipulate you into something. So again, don't usually mention. It is true, but I don't usually mention that every time I'm skimming past the Cancer energy, so it must be important for somebody to know that. It's almost like, again, this is really specific, but it's almost like I'm getting a vision of, like, say you're building up the courage to sort of leave a situation that is not right, and someone's like, please don't go, I love you, I can't live without you. You know what I mean? Like, it's manipulative, it's manipulative. So it might not be that specific one, but it is interesting. I was getting a visual. And sometimes it's not even romantic. It could also be family members that put like guilt tripping and all that kind of stuff. But like you said, it's also hashtag all the feels. It's the sign about feelings. It's mothering. It's how do you mother yourself? Are you looking after yourself? Are you putting other people's adaptability? That's how we're all going to have to be with the energy that's all a bit crazy. Because you think this is crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get mental, annoying. I can feel it's going to get annoying. That's what I can feel. And that's why I said that in that video yesterday, that the last few Mercury retrogrades towards the end of last year were the worst ones I've ever experienced in my life, for just blindsiding, confusion. Oh, people misunderstand you misunderstand people, and helping people with that going on in my own life, it wasn't fun. So fucking hell, let's see. The power of community, wow, and isn't that powerful? Because it's like, and then obstacles. This is what I'm saying. It's like things are gonna get, I'm a realist when it comes to things like this, and look, somebody's resonating. But it's like, yeah, we're going to have to, have that sense of community and basically stick together, soul family, because there are going to be obstacles that are put in your way. They're going to be put in your way, they're going to put in your twin's way, and while all this annoyance is going on, having a supportive community is an important thing. Drifter, there's that card again, experiencing life as it comes. And I get what that's about. It's like basically we're doing, and that's 14th is tomorrow as I'm filming this. It's like we're all just going to have to experience it as it comes, but it's good to know what we might be dealing with in the future personally and as a community, as a collective. And it is going to be obstacles. It's just there, they're just backing up what I said. Movement towards adventure, but it shouldn't stop you living your life. Like, it shouldn't stop you moving towards, and then that actually kind of makes sense of what I just said. When I'm getting a visual of someone trying to move on from somewhere and someone's trying to manipulate them to stay. So if this isn't your present reality, it could be something that happened in the past, or remember, this could be your twin I'm channeling about, and you might not necessarily know, but there are going to be reconciliations. That's on the bottom there, and I've not seen that one before. And beginner's mind, and so 21 might be significant, 59 might be significant, it might be someone's age, but it's 21 also reminds me of the world coming full circle, and this is called first breath. So it's like movement towards something, and it's someone's going to have a beginner's mind with a reconciliation. So it does kind of seem like it's either a reconciliation from someone from your past in this life, or it's a reconciliation from someone from a past life. So it might even be like brand new to this life kind of thing. Just to make things clear as mud. I feel like I want to go here now. So I'm doing the Rumi card. I was going to do it first, but I'm doing it last, right? So, yes. So I'm going out tonight. My cousin's here with her boyfriend, and so I'm going out tonight with my cousin and family. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you're watching this, you'll be watching it, when I'm home or about to be home, because. Yeah, I'm not taking any chances with whatever weirdos are tracking my every move, so. I don't really like to think about it like that, but yeah, I do think I have to, you know what I mean? You just don't know, like, who. I think when I've channeled that many times about the Aquarius moons, when I've met strange men on the beach and that, I don't really want to be. It's not like I'm telling you where I'm going, but I'm just kind of like, nah. I think I'd rather just mention after the occasion, so. So maybe there's something there about you doing that, like, being a bit smarter about things, like not kind of announcing your every move, whether it be literally when you're going somewhere or in your life. It's like, as you know, I always suggest that when it comes to the twin flame journey, because I'd love to think that everybody has that strong discernment of who you can trust, but hopefully the stories I've told of my own life and of clients' lives, it's not always true. Like, people can appear nicey, and underneath it, they're not actually, they're a bit of a hater or jealous, you know what I mean? Courage, strength, leap of faith, doing what's right, bravery, confidence, going for it, protector, stability, dependable. So this is kind of adding up. Whoever this is today, it's like somebody's gathering the strength to take a leap of faith, because they know it's doing what's right for them, doing what's right for you. But there is this feeling of somebody pulling you back, or your person back. Daydreamer, that's interesting, because I saw that and on the bottom, and then I shuffled and put it back, it came out again. Obstacles, karma, soul contract, things to learn, need more healing, complications, divine timing, more awakening needed. And I feel that's why there's been a delay here, that somebody wasn't. It's like what I channeled the other day in the shorts, like, somebody wasn't quite getting what this connection was about, and therefore, they would be easily manipulated by others. Oh fuck, I wondered how that was going to come in. So I watched the wedding planner last night. I actually wrote loads of notes on my phone, but like, I've seen it before, like, but not for ages, but I don't think I need to go and get them. The gist of it is, like, it's the whole sort of film is she's the wedding planner, and she, a guy rescues her at the start of the film, and you know they just have this instant spark, and then it ends up, you know, her pal ends up being like, oh, are you free tonight? You know, there's an outside movie thing, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they basically go on a bit of a date. And then they nearly kiss. And then, I'm kind of spoiler alert in it, so if you don't want to know, then you can just click off now, but you might have seen it. But, yeah, long story short, it turns out that it's like, so they nearly kiss, right? And then she's just got landed a big client, and it turns out that the big client's fiance is this guy. So, you know, there is lots of, because you're kind of like, fucking hell, there's lots of question marks in that, but clearly it's meant to be that, you know, he wasn't happy, because if he's entertaining another woman, taking her on a date and you're like kissing her when you're engaged and about to be married, it's so funny, isn't it? It's like literally what I said in the last video of over the last few decades, you know what I mean? It's like when I've been when I've been out and about, like kind of in the town, like it's like that's been more than on one occasion that I've had like married men or men big enough, like trying to, you know, trying their luck. And as far as they could get, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I try to get a kiss, but like, there's some that would have, you know, if I'd wanted to, they would have taken me home. So, well, I'm sure that, sorry, my guys are being funny. I'm sure they wouldn't have taken me home, because that would have been, but do you know what I'm saying? They would have taken me somewhere if I was willing, which I fucking wasn't, because I've got morals and values, and I deserve better than that, because that's the point is, let's face it, some of you out there will have done stuff like this, right? And forgive yourself, because it's done now, basically. But it's that kind of thing of, that would be like, you might have fun in the moment, but then you're going to feel like absolute shit because you've just done something that you know you wouldn't want done to you. And that's where I'm a bit too sensible at. I'm just kind of like, I'm not saying I've been a complete angel. Like I said, I've not been too honest right now, but it's funny. Whenever I've found myself in these situations, it's always been because the guy's lied. And that's happened a few times. Like, seriously, where someone has basically made out, like, basically said they're single. Like, it's not even made out. It's either made out they're single and you just totally just assume, because you're like, there's no way this guy's with someone, look how he's acting. Or where I've actually outright asked and someone's lied. So that's, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, yeah, you've got to be careful. Fantasizing, escapism, dreams and goals, desires, passive, not taking action, ungrounded, manifesting. Yeah, and I feel that's it. So why I started talking about that film and then I started talking about that. Yeah, but that matters, what you see, because what I'm saying is, you get some women and men that don't give a fuck. Like, they'll know you're with someone, and as long as you're cool, they'll go ahead and do it, because they get a thrill out of the secretiveness of it and people not knowing and getting away with it, right? But secrets always come out. And then you've got other people that do care, and that if you say like, oh, I'm married, or I've got people be like, no, I'm out. Like, even if there's an attraction there, and that's why that film's reminding me that it's like there's an instant spark, like they've got instant chemistry. And so when you find out he's a fiance, you're like, oh, a minute. And then obviously she's the same. She's like, oh, so you're just like another fucking cheating guy that's about to get married, and you just would hook up and go on a date and you'll kiss someone. And he's like, no, it's not like that. And then he doesn't really get a chance to explain it. And it's interesting because they kind of, you know, they both go into their ego a bit. And then he actually says to her, like, look, you know, he's talking to his best pal. Now, this is what interests me. He's talking to his best pal, and he's like, look, you know, the guy's like, you're not seriously thinking about leaving, what's her name again? Right, wait a minute, I'm going to say their names because that'd be easier than saying the woman. So the woman's called Fran that he's engaged to, and the woman, Jennifer Lopez in the film, is called Mary, and he's called Steve. Yeah, so these names might be significant, but so the guy to the Steve is like, you know, you're not seriously thinking about leaving Fran for this girl that you hardly know, this woman. And he's like, look, you know, Fran's great, and, you know, but we've known each other since college, and it's just all very predictable, and I do love her, but, you know, he's basically saying there's no spark there, right? And he's like, and I don't know what it was, but, you know, the other night there was just something there, and it was exciting, there was passion. And obviously the best friend does what the people in these films do, but again, so the best friend can represent anyone. It can represent an actual best friend, it can represent a well-meaning parent, it can represent a well-meaning anyone, you know, that's like, but it can also be someone that isn't got good intentions, you know what I mean, that maybe unconsciously, and that's what gets confusing, doesn't want you to have the best of the best. It's like, oh, I would be much more comfortable if you settle for the settling relationship that is I'm comfortable with you being in, rather than you having some out of this world true love kind of. And it's also his amazing story, you know, he saved her life, and he actually saves her life a couple of times in the film. So so anyway, that's just symbolic of what's going to make sense to someone. So anyway, the guy's like, you know, the best friend's like, you know, it's just what you're feeling. It's not excitement, it's anxiety. Like which doesn't even fucking make sense. But it's like, again, it's funny because it's like I always say, when you feel anxious, flipping at excitement. So there is something in that, but it's like he's like, you know, that's not excitement that you're feeling about that new and made it. It's just anxiety, and it's just your nerves about the marriage. So that's an escape, right? So it's like he's like, yeah, you're right, and that's what I mean. That's about being easily led. You know, that guy was right, that he is feeling like, wait a minute, this is meant to be the way that we've met, and it's to, you know, it's to show me this marriage isn't right. It's not right for me. It's not right for the person I'm going to marry. Blah blah blah. Right. So you can kind of guess the way the film goes, right? So they're in their egos to each other throughout the film, and he even says, like, you know, I don't want to start anything with you because I want to marry Fran, and you know, and so like he'd be basically lying, right? It was only because he's just regurgitating what the friend said. So then she's kind of like, well, she's given it that whole I don't want to start with you anyway, because you know, because it's quite nasty too, right, with that film, because they're doing that behind that woman's back, and anyway, I don't like that part of it. It's always a bit dodgy. But again, people get a kick out of this stuff, so I really, God, I'm sorry if anyone's going through something like this, but somebody must be for me to be channeling this. And so yeah, and then obviously, like, you know, as happens, like the woman Fran goes away for a week's work thing, and she's like, right, you two can handle it. I trust you both. Don't think you should, Fran. Like, you can pick the flowers, and you can, you know, get, look, a dragonfly might be significant here because that just fell off. Dragonflies are about transformation. And so anyway, you know, like, and then, so I'm telling you the whole film here, but then there's a bit where they're out picking the flowers, and Mary bumps into her ex-fiance and his pregnant wife. So obviously that gets her all fucked up, and you know, she then gets really drunk, and the guy Steve needs to take her home. Again, dodgy, very, you know, drunk, late at night. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, you know, I just wasn't good enough. You know, that's what, and he's like, no, you're more than good enough. And actually, it's him that's lost out. And, you know, and anyway, you can tell it's like, he's feeling her and she's feeling him. So he leaves, right? He's like, it's late, I better go, because it looked like they were about to kiss. And then he comes back to the door and he's like, look, do you still think about that night? Like that night that we met? And you can tell she wants to be like, yeah, I'm pure in love with you. But because she's doing the right thing, and this is now, I'm mixing up divine feminine, divine masculine energies here when I'm channeling this one. But that's when it's like, you know, she does the thing about being a martyr, like, you know, like it's, or like doing the right thing. Because it's like, rather than saying like, yeah, look, this is really shit to Fran, but yeah, I do think about that night all the time, and actually I think I'm in love with you, and I can tell you're in love with me. She's like, look, Fran is a beautiful person and I love her, and I'm hired to do this. And no, I don't think about that night, right? So she lies, right? And then he goes away. So you've got a situation here where they both, you know, they both like each other, and this poor fucking Fran's marrying somebody that fancies the wedding planner. And but anyway, right, but what I'm saying is, it's like that, the Jennifer Lopez, that's that character for me is coming from a bit of a kind of, you know, I'm going to do the right thing. You know, I'm not, so that's kind of going too much other way. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and to be honest, I do resonate with it, because I feel at one point in my, well, definitely at one point in my life, in fact, I've told stories of where I was that person, where it's like you go too much to being the do-gooder, that it's like when I said that thing about, like, I could have hooked up with this guy and I didn't because there was loyalties to my friends at the time. It was just a family, it was a brother. And that was just me being like, fuck, nobody gave a fuck. Do you know what I mean? We're all young. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. Like, you know, neither. So, and it's kind of like, so it's kind of reminds me of that, you know what I mean? But, yeah, so but then it gets worse, because she, then she, uh, is so funny when they make me do this. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to remember. Yeah. Then the woman that's getting married, Fran, starts having her doubts. When she comes back from the holiday, she's like, look, I know what's been going on. And so Mary automatically thinks, oh my God, she knows like that we met in that way. And she's like, look, I can explain. And the Fran goes on to be like, look, you know, this annoys me about him, that annoys me. Like, she's basically saying, like, look, he annoys me. Like, we're not compatible. And Mary talks her out of it. She's like, look, Fran, he told me the other night that he can't believe that you picked him. Like, basically she lies. Like, he doesn't even say that about her. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, so that, again, that's not nice, you know what I mean? Because it's like, she then convinces the girl to keep marrying. Anyway, you can probably guess how it ends, or you've maybe seen it. It ends up being that right before the two of them are about to get married, he's like, takes the one Fran away for a walk, and he's like, look, do you really want to do this? Because you really want to do it, I'll do it. Again, that's fucked up too. Like, basically, I don't want to do it, but if you really want to do it, I'll do it. Like, oh, anyway, that annoyed me. Because it's like real life too. Some people will do that. It's like what I've said about men that I've had conversations with. It's like, why did you marry her? Because it was the next logical thing to do. Oh, that's romantic. Not. And yeah, and then so basically she's like, yeah, you know, I can't believe you're, you know, she deflects it, and she's like, I can't believe you're doing this, can't believe you're ending it right for it. And he's like, I'm not ending it, I'm just genuinely asking you, because he knows that she's gonna be like, no, I'm not happy. And then she does when she's like, yeah, you know, I can't do this. And then they end it amicably, which again is not very so very realistic, but I suppose it happens to some people, so maybe that's a sign out there for you. Yeah, and then he goes and then also there's the stupid bit in the film where the Mary's about to marry some guy and she doesn't love, of course, and then she doesn't go ahead with it. And then anyway, the film ends, and it ends how it started, that they were at this outside movie thing, and it just ends with them kissing. So there might be something about the impossible or the unbelievable coming about and happening, like a daydream coming reality kind of thing. Telepathy. And I feel that if this is resonating with you, it's like you've both been telepathically talking to each other, manifesting a more peaceful relationship with someone, your twin, multi-dimensional connection, feeling each other's emotions, mind reading, connected through space and time, pure communication, serenity, harmony, happiness, calm, stability, fulfillment, joy, deeply meaningful, happy relationship. Yeah, if you think about it, why I've just fucking told that whole film, they were daydreaming about each other throughout the whole film, which, like I said, rubbed me up the wrong way, because I don't like the fact that it's like he's, you know, that's the bit that I can understand it, because it's the people that I help all the time, mostly women, and some men, but I can understand it from that, but I can't understand it because it's not the way that my brain thinks, is that, you know, when it's quite obvious who the one that you want is, I can't understand why someone's still staying stuck in a situation, not doing something about it. And that's the bit I don't like about that film, where he's actually like, if that woman had bottled it and not done the courageous thing, it'd be like, yeah, do you know what? I'm not happy. Because she does say at one point too, like she says, oh, but what about all the people? And he's like, he doesn't say fuck all the people, but he's like, who cares? You don't even know half of them. And that's the point. All of that is money and show and keeping up appearances. Like, but this is real life. Some people literally do, I've said this before, but some people literally do walk right down the altar to someone just to prove that it's real. And there'll be twin flames that do that too. They'll be so determined to prove that they can beat this or whatever. Like it's like, yeah, and it's sad, because the stories I've read, that I've come across, or the stories, that literal stories people have told me, it never works out well. Even if somebody does marry somebody else, you might be happy for a while, and then you'll always be daydreaming like that guy in the film about a twin flame. Wounded. Intense emotional pain, fear, depression, emotionally unavailable, scared, defensive, triggered, and healing. And that's why people can take a very long time to transform. You take as long as you take. Retrograde energy is about taking it slow, in their shell, slow moving, clammed up, silent, slow and steady, withdrawn, introvert, shy, insecure and wise. Transformation of a relationship, freedom from blocks, wisdom, growth, strength, being yourself. Right, don't know why I had to do like, yeah, and someone's going to take a risk. So it's kind of giving vibes of someone is taking a very long time, but it's going to be worth it. Taking a leap of faith, trust in the divine, intuitive, against all odds, taking action, courage, going for it. And then it's like they're saying to me, it's like the friend in the film that's convincing the guy. Otherwise, it's like, whoever the friend symbolises, for whoever's resonating with this, it's like someone's going to be like, you know what, that person's wrong and I'm going to take a risk on what I feel. Through gratitude, joy expands, like focus on what and who you're grateful for. Get the big picture. Again, getting the bigger picture about your life, who and what would make you happy. And support is all around you. Like this is basically feels like a divine masculine energy regardless of gender. Feeling the support of the divine all around them. They're getting the bigger picture. Getting a picture. It's like getting a picture in. But it's kind of like a picture of drink is what I'm saying. I don't know what I was going to say. But it's like, you know, grateful for the lessons that they've learned along the way, getting the bigger picture. And yeah, simplifying your life. Like travelling lightly, like leaving behind what doesn't serve you. Feels like ascension too, and uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. So that can be about when you're going through a dark night of soul, discovering the parts of you, you know, discovering the true parts after going through the pain. But also, it feels like that discovering the treasure being the twin flame relationship, and we're going to use we're going to use one of the triggering decks. What have we got? You and I are like a ball of wool. You're one end of the string and I the other, but we're a tangled mess. And I can't get you out of my head. And there's so much I want to express to you, but when it comes down to it, I always back out. So this could even be somebody that's writing you messages. You deserve so much more than I can give you right now. It's writing the messages and then deleting them. I grew up with bad role models. I've no clue how to love you like you deserve. I'm afraid that you're making fun of me to your friends. Can't handle such deeply spiritual connection at times. It's all a bit intense. It gives me that vibe of maybe someone can't handle it right now, but give them the time that they need and they'll come back when they're ready. And like I always say, it's like, you know, we're always taking a chance with everything in our lives, aren't we? It's like the longer you stay away from someone, you're teaching them how to live without you. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's true, isn't it? And then, but that is the journey of the divine masculines, you know what I mean? And then it's like, then they've got to put in the effort to, then they've got to put in the effort, they've got to win you round. And the right person will do that. The wrong one won't make an effort, they won't give a fuck. Right. And sometimes even the right ones will act like they don't give a fuck and not make an effort until they're ready to. See how that works? Right, okay, so we're shuffling the astrology cards. I don't know why, but wouldn't it be interesting if something to do with the current astrology comes out? We've got the third house messages. Well, that is Gemini energy. That's the third house. That's communication. Again, oh yeah, so this basically could be that there's messages coming in from someone important to you about love. Yeah, so that does feel like, because I don't often use these cards, but it does feel that this Venus retrograde in Leo is bringing... Oh, that makes sense, yes. It does make sense with astrology. It's bringing a message back from someone from your past, I feel. And it's going to be intense, deep feelings, because that water is feelings, and it's a Cancer moon. And of course we've just picked Mercury, which rules the third house, so it's very interesting. Yeah, a lot of communication is going to be coming forth for whoever's resonating with us. Right, and now we're going to go into the Rumi. So, and I've just finished channeling that at 33 minutes, which is one of my divine masculine signs when I'm doing this, because 33 is connected to Jesus and forgiveness. So what have we got for the Rumi message? It'd be funny if the cloak of Christ comes out again when I just said that. So what have we got? Like I said, it's not for this day necessarily, but it is important to mention that this is that magical energy of the conjunction, the CAZIMI. So, oh, duh. Yeah, see what I mean? It's because I'm about half asleep here. Yeah. So yeah, that's why the Venus card has come up there as well. That's brilliant. Like it's just a heightened day for magnifying your hopes, dreams and wishes, intentions about love, about valuing yourself, about any now that's been coming up in energy anyway, your creative talents, because Leo energy is the 5th house and creativity. So it's also children and your inner child. So anything you want to sort of meditate on today with that energy, but that'll be what that was about. So Dance of the Divine Feminine. Oh, now that is the one. Well, if you're ever doubting how psychic I am, I just fucking said that. But there's something even more magical about this. That to me is like Mary Magdalene and Jesus. This feels, I mean, it's union energy that I'm bringing in, but I mean, that feels really seen. now that really is, I think they're just wanting to sort of emphasize the magic that is in the air today. Because we've got, this is divine feminine, divine masculine. This does feel like Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Now, if I read this out on the one that I titled Christ Consciousness, so you can hear me read that card in there, so I'll not bother reading this again. But wow, I kind of know. See, when I say, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if this comes out?" 9 times out of 10, that card does come out. So, because it's not me. See, if you don't get this, it's like I'm just being a clear channel to channel the messages. Like it depends. Like even even when it seems like I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm really happy, or it's interesting. Like I channel the sort of dominant energies to get the message across. Very interesting, right? So 42. Dance of the Divine Feminine. And isn't that funny? I don't think I'm going to be doing any dancing tonight, but you never know. Shit can get a bit cray-cray if they pull me to a club. Like I said, the clubs are open till 5, but I've not been at a club in about fucking 3 years anyway. Might be 4 years. Dance of the Divine Feminine. If a tree could move from one place to another and it would not suffer the pain of the saw or the oppressive winds, if the sun and the moon stood still like the rocks, they could not offer brilliance. How bitter the taste of water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. When the seawater rises to become a cloud, it loses its bitterness and pours the rain of sweetness. I have given you only a few examples, you can figure out the rest. Break away from the self and enter the kingdom of love. That alone feels like when I was describing the guy saying, "No, you're wrong," to the best friend, or whoever the best friend symbolises in the story, if this is yours, because it might not be yours. Remember, use your common sense. 37 minutes, follow your North Node, everyone. Follow your North Node. Don't follow someone else's North Node, aka someone else's advice or opinion. Follow your own, to your Divine Feminine. Dance to your Divine Feminine. How can your feet bear to be still when the music is so lush and inviting? How can you hold yourself back from the tide of love when the horizon looms so vast and exciting? How can you not arch your back and respond with ecstasy to the lover's touch, saying in absolute submission, yes, more? This is very Venus and Leo. You were made to move and grow to love and flow. Even mountains change, surrender to the stodgy ways of the mind, and become willing to dance the great orchestrations of love. And now I get why I've just fucking channeled the whole of that film. In the film, the two people that are getting married are being like very kind of, we must get married because we've known each other forever. We went to college with each other. No, no, no. You know what I mean? But they're both fucking bored. Both of them are both fucking bored. And then he meets somebody that likes a spark in him, right? Well, say in this case that could be like twin flames meeting, like his true divine feminine. But it's like he just keeps pushing it away, right? Because he's scared. Right up until, he's about to marry the other one. So, and she also keeps pushing it away. So, right. But it's very understandable in her case, because remember, if he's the one getting married, then that is where it's like loads of people will do that. You know what I mean? It's like you won't do anything about it because you're like, they have to make up their own mind. I don't want to twist somebody's arm to come to me, because then it's like you'll always be like, they'll just fuck off. Because if you twisted their arm to come and be with you, well, I wouldn't trust it. You know what I mean? It's a bit like when you, what is it they say, like, I don't always necessarily feel that's true, but yeah, like if you cheat on something quite a bad way and then you end up with him, it's a lot of people say like, don't be surprised if they then do the same to you. But I don't feel that's the same when it comes to these energies, because there's a bit of a come to Jesus moment, and the divine masculines have a rebirth, and their energy changes. But I don't know, that is going to make sense to someone. That's why love's scary, because it's like, we're all going to hurt each other, but you've just got to decide who is worth hurting for. And it's the kind of hurt where it's not malicious, you know what I mean? It's just nobody's perfect people. You may be feeling unsettled, beloved, as though the ground beneath you is not solid. You may touch it to see, is it moving? Of course, it's hurtling through the sky, spinning, tilted on its axis. It's amazing you aren't passed out on the floor in utter dizziness. Yet you stand there imagining you have a choice of not moving. What funny foolishness. Let us laugh about it together. Oh my God, I've just realised there's a whole thing in that film about dancing. Because she asks him if he wants to dance when they're on that date before she knows he's somebody else's man. And then it ends like that, where he's like, do you want to dance? So there's something significant here about dancing. How can you even imagine it? Only through some misplaced fear. It is such a small craziness, really. You can cast it off, that small crazy fear. Let it return to the Earth Mother to become fertilizer for the far grander, more exciting insanity of divine love instead. Keep up that tiny insanity in favour of the greater craziness of love. You cannot be unmoved by it. The rhythm of life will get you shaking, your hips eventually. How could you not become entranced by the gleaming dance floor, shimmering with possibility and invitation? By the way, if you hear me hiccup and a burping, that's when I'm cleansing the energy. Like I'm transmuting the energy. People know this, but I'm just saying it for anyone new. This oracle comes to you with guidance. Your life may feel as though it's been tipped upside down. That feels like dark night of soul. Perhaps you feel as though the great beloved in a feisty mood has grabbed your ankles, is holding you upside down and shaking you wildly until your skirt is over your head, or the pockets of your pants become freed and their contents, keys and wallet drop into the floor in disarray. Your hair is messy, your bottom is in the air, and your sense of orientation is nowhere to be found. Blood is rushing to your head, and goodness knows you want to be put down, to have a moment to come to your senses, and that's just all a night out. So the beloved will give you that gift. Don't imagine it will last too long. The great beloved esteems you capable of so much more than being sure-footed and sensible. You're capable of more whirling and stumbling, whilst inspired by the music of the spheres, if you just accept the great invitation to dance. There won't be so much roughhousing going on. It won't be needed, because your hair will already be a mess. That candle's doing some crazy shit, by the way. That was a new candle. And I'm just noticing that, like, if you watch that flame, it's doing some really interesting. It's like the candle's dancing. Right, so I'll watch it when I watch it back to see, but I can see in the corner of my eye it's doing some interesting stuff. It won't be needed because your hair will already be a mess, your blood will already be pumping, and you'll already be sweating, laughing, smiling, and dancing. The great beloved will be alive in you, which is all that the grand seducer ever wanted in the first place, even with all the jokes and horseplay. There's something about horses again. Disarray and dishevelled by the divine beloved, you're able to break out of the too ordinary world. You'll explore the delightful consequences of the rocked boats and upset apple carts, being swept away by love as you dare to dream bolder and wilder for yourself in the world. And then that is a good analogy, that film. Like, it's going to upset people initially, but even in that film, it was kind of too good to be true, because it didn't. Because when he said to the woman, like, look, this isn't right, she's like, yeah, it's not right. And then she goes off in a taxi, happy days. And you don't even see the upset of the mum and the dad and whoever's paid for the wedding and all that. There is a bigger magic for you to weave this lifetime. Prosaic priorities inherited from the world are stuff and nonsense. It is the priorities of the heart. There's a dog going absolutely crazy. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but there's a dog going absolutely crazy outside. So I feel that as like, dogs are about loyalty, right? I'm going to have to shut that door, that's really loud. But I feel that's about like somebody's devotion and loyalty screaming at them, like, this is not the right path for you. That's what I'm feeling. If you're ever, or that's like the barking dogs, like the karmic energies around like someone and they're about to be like, shut up. Although you should never ever speak to a dog. I mean, it hurt me more that you spoke to a dog that way than a person. I'm joking. You should never speak to an animal or a person like that. Saying shut up is never a nice thing. But it's that kind of, even inside, you want to be like, shut up. I feel this is the energy of someone I'm channeling. Like, they do just want to be like, shut up. Like, all these different people's opinions coming at them. It's the priorities of the heart that matter to you. If you're ever to right yourself, whilst the beloved is tipping you upside down like a soaring bird, is the most impressive aerial dynamics. It will be establishing right priorities, the priorities of your own heart. So ask your heart what matters most and attend to that. Soon you'll be able to find orientation, even if everything you have once held on to appears to be shimmering and insubstantial, a mere dance of light rather than solid ground. This will become so easy for you because your orientation will flow from within, from the heart, and no matter what shifts and changes take place around you, your centre will remain strong. This is what the Beloved wants for you. Such peace, relief it shall bring you, but perhaps some shaking about is required in the first case, and you're reluctant to give up some mainstays, unaware of how much they drain your life away from your heart centre. Wow, can you see why I just regurgitated that whole fucking film? I can. This oracle brings you this message also. There's something you're holding on to. Oh my god. I forgot it was about, listen to this. Listen to what I just said about the film, right? And then listen to this. There's something you're holding on to, a person, a place, a thing, a belief, or a vision, and you need to let it go because it wants to grow. In that film, he wanted to grow towards the woman. That doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean, moving on. And the woman that he was getting married to also wanted to grow. Like, she wanted to travel, she wanted to meet somebody else because he wasn't the one. You know what I mean? And that's usually the way with these things. Even the controlling women or controlling men that hold on to your twin flames, they don't really want them. They just want control over them. There's a difference. And when people come out of distorted energy and they heal, that's when they meet their person. But that all takes a lot of work, and a lot of people don't want to do work. They just want to follow the programming and the brainwashing and the distorted energies that people have been taught, like, no, they're mine, I'm holding on to it. It's just like, people shouldn't be possessions to people, you know what I mean? Right. It may grow and change into something utterly different, or it may grow into exactly what you're imagining. Whenever outcome growth is happening, and that's like, you've got to let your twin flame go too, because it might grow and you grow in different directions and you grow with other people, and then you come back around when it's meant. If that is your true twin flame, that is literally what will happen. Because it doesn't matter how much time lapses between twins, the love is still there. And or like, this might be about spending time in separation with your twin, and then when you grow into the people you're meant to be and you come back together, it's even better than you could have even visualized. Or it might be exactly what you saw, you know what I mean? Some of you seers out there, but it'll probably be better. Whichever outcome, growth is happening, and you'll find you enjoy the way much more, with greater flow and support and less bashing of your head against the proverbial brick wall, if you can let it happen. Don't worry if it seems as though your world is coming to an end and you're losing something you once loved, which, let's face it, in that film, that is scary for that man and that woman, because they've known each other since college, you know, but they've grown apart. And so it's braver to admit that before you make a huge commitment like marriage, you know, and then allow you to go your different ways and be happy. So this is just the shaking about the great beloved to lead into a deeper, sweeter dance of the divine being and becoming. Put your focus into your heart and realise you're ready. You're more ready than you think. Now shake those hips, stamp those feet, close your eyes and clap your hands. There, that's better already. What the caterpillar calls the end, the master calls the butterfly. And isn't that funny that look, risk taking. Somebody's taking a risk to their destiny. Fated, guided by spirit, soul contract, that remembers this. The sacred contract came out yesterday. Divine meant to be, surrender, it will happen, soul path, soul agreements. And a butterfly came out. And it says, repeat it 3 times or however many times feels necessary for you, a deeper part of your being, to really believe in what you're saying. You'll know when that happens because you'll feel more peace and presence within, and then you'll have completed your sacred honour and ritual. But really, right, what that's about is, in that film, I could see it, because I was going to say that earlier, but now it's like, that's triggered me to say it. It's like, she doesn't believe it can happen for her. She's like, oh yeah, of course I've just met this amazing guy that saved my life twice, and he's married to the person that I'm doing a job for. Of course that's how this works. It's a bit like when I've said, it's like, you know, in the past, it's like, if there's been potential, like, you know, because again, my friends do that, it's like, I never ever, I would just, never mind, even take the twin flame out the occasion, like, I just rarely ever fancied anyone, right? Like, people used to call me really fussy, but again, it is very easy to be fussy, and I don't fancy people that easily, like, I have to really, really fancy them. And but whenever rarely these occasions did happen, it was always something like that. Like, so I resonate with that part. It's like, oh yeah, of course it's going to be somebody that's already with someone, and but they're like, you know, and they're trying to get with you. It's like, or well, that, yeah, it's basically that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so I had to work really hard when I set on these beliefs of that, that yeah, I can attract somebody that isn't already attached to somebody that is tied up that karma where it needs to be, and I can just be happy and at peace with him. Fucking also hold on to that belief, like. That's the story I'm telling myself. Let's see what it manifests. Oh, that's hilarious. Right, so in the physical with the divine feminine, ground, shield and protect. Yep, ground, shield, protect, intense energies. In Leo season, it's unlikely to be not dramatic. Whoever's resonate with this, basically. But Leo is happiness too, but it is drama. Divine masculine, the ground, shield and protect. You can do it, yep. Remember your identity. This all fits, doesn't it? A divine masculine energy is getting ready to drop the mask. They're remembering who they really are. They're remembering who their divine counterpart is, and they're telling themselves you can do it, because I don't feel they've got many people around them telling them they can do it. They might have someone though, but it doesn't matter. If you've not got anybody telling you around that you can do it, tell yourself that you can do it. Take responsibility for your own life. Because it's like, you know what I mean, in that film, if it wasn't a film like that, oh no, I've just realised something, it's Matthew McConaughey that's the main lead. So that's funny, that will have significant some twin flames out there as well. But it's kind of like, you know, he could be like, oh, well, my best friend told me that wasn't realistic. So you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but your best friend, it's not your best friend's life. Like, take responsibility for your own life. Like, what do you want to do? And then they've got the same cards as the feminine, ground, shield and protect. But ground, shield and protect is because, yeah, there will be people that aren't happy about this union. Ground, shield and protect. Spirit's like, I fucking told you. Ground, shield and protect for the unification that's coming in September for whoever this is for. It might even be like around the 9th of September. That's endings too. And look, that looks like a big 9 as well. Aligning with abundance. The chosen one, fast track to right, I'm going to stop now, but it's, yeah, mission accomplished. That is like fucking Matrix, isn't it? Aligning, protect, ground checked, and, oh my god, ground protected shield for the unification that's taking place. The fast track to ascension, mission accomplished. Welcome home. Right, anyway. Love you. So, yeah, I will see you for Mediumship Monday, unless shit gets a bit cray tonight and I'm hungover. I don't actually think this is going to be a night where I'm going to drink, but I might not even be that late. Like, I don't know, but that's, to be honest, that's what's kind of exciting, quite spontaneous. But yeah, I'll check in with you later. See you later. Bye.